And to continue our conversation on the ongoing conflict, joining us is a defense expert, retired Lieutenant General Rajiv Chopra. Good evening and welcome, General Chopra. If you could give us your assessment of the direction in which these escalations seem to be headed.
Jain viewers, now my assessment is at the moment also Pakistan is testing waters how much it can escalate. It is not a war scenario at the moment. It is still at the skirmishes stage. The skirmishes are taking place all along the borders to see how are our air defense missile systems functioning. Basically, there were drone attacks, some missile attacks, what they're testing waters. They are firstly doing surveillance and secondly trying to see how much our air defense preparedness is there. And what they have seen and found that all across the entire drone systems have been destroyed and very or no or minimal damage has been caused. What is more important, that they are targeting the civil areas and also some religious place like the Gurdwara and the churches so that they can bring in the communal disharmony. But let me tell you, the way we are handling the situation, the information campaign of Pakistan, the fake news, the propaganda warfare or the psychological warfare is unimaginable. We are on daily basis, the Foreign Secretary along with the reps of the Army and the Air Force are briefing on the situation. And let me tell you, India is a country, secular country, which is unity in diversity. All the communal, there is no communal differences, and we'll rise to the occasion that nothing will happen. No, this is a weak man's or this targeting civil areas is not of any professional army. It is a weak army, as you are aware. They want to beat India by 1,000 cuts. First they did at the low-cost option, which is the low-intensity conflict, or by spreading terrorism. Now they are trying to spearhead the communal riots in India.
And General Chopra, does this hybrid nature of conflict make it more complex, one that is fought on the ground, in the air, but also online through these propaganda content that you shared?
Yeah. Like we are saying, no, today is a hybrid warfare scenario. It is a contact warfare or the kinetic warfare or a non-kinetic warfare, where the cyber warfare is one tool which the nations employ, and the second very important tool is the information campaign. This Pakistan, by information campaign, want to bring communal disharmony in India and also wants that the morale of the Indian forces and also of the civilians bring down so that they play their narrative. Let me tell you, we are handling the information campaign very well. We are on the top of the information campaign and we have various measures. And my message to the citizens of India is they should only trust the government channels and the sources which are authenticated. They should not look at the media, the social media platforms. And as the army, we have always been saying, before committing anything, you must check, recheck, re-recheck. So my advice to all the citizens is, before any forwarding of any social media where a fake news is circulating, you must check or curb it and even desist the people who are circulating it.
Right, thank you for putting it so lucidly. Thank you for putting it so lucidly, sir. The objective of this program is also the same. Moving on, the MEAPC that happened a short while ago, it elaborated on certain irresponsible tactics used by Pakistan. They're using civilian flights, Pakistani civilian flights, as a shield near the border area, which is a no-fly zone.
What is happening? See, firstly, they struck all along the borders and they knew we are going to retaliate. And in retaliation, if we could have targeted any civil aircraft, it would have been a big media campaign by them. They would have said the Indian Army is targeting civil areas, civil aircrafts, and it would have brought the focus of the international community is there. But let me tell you, we, like even in the strikes where we struck their terror camps, we exercised restraint both in timings. We had the strikes at 1 o'clock where there's no civil movement, and our choosing of the timing was there so that there's no collateral damage, and we are not firing in any of the border villages on the civil areas. Similarly, what they want to say, a weak nation, they want to target the soft targets, and they are prepared to sacrifice the aircrafts and the civilians so that by mistake, even if we fire, when the guns are open, they can do anything. And if a civil aircraft is there, they'll make a lot of propaganda campaign, hue and cry that India has targeted a civil plane. And like always said, we have closed all our civil airports in the forward areas and made them as a no-flying zone. Every day the advisory is coming that please cancel your ticket. These airports are unoperational because one, they are being targeted by the Pakistan, and secondly, these are required for our operations. Therefore, the Pakistan deliberately didn't do it because they want to use the civil aircraft as a shield to bring bad name to India. But India at each stage has exercised restraint. We are a responsible nation. Even in the security ladder, we are going to dominate and be on top. But our best efforts will be not to harm any civil targets, and where the world is involved. Even in the Navy space, in the Arabian Sea, we are only establishing a blockade the ships which are carrying Pakistan flags. The others are being allowed to come in except for the FOLs or fuel oil lubricants, because we know that is a war fighting thing, and if we have the war endurance will increase of Pakistan if they keep getting the supply of weapons. Like there was a news that there was a aircraft and a ship coming from Turkey, and the drone which has been detected has traces to Turkey. Therefore, we need to carry out a blockade of the naval space so that any war-type material doesn't enter into Pakistan.
Now, General Chopra, it has been reiterated that the beginning of the series of escalation has been the Pahalgam terror attack. What we're seeing now is a certain kind of military-to-military exchanges taking place. Now, what happens to India's short-term and long-term fight against terrorism?
See, what happens is we have been bleeding through the terrorists throughout the last almost 30-35 years. They are using this as a strategic weapon, as a below the threshold of the conventional level, sub-conventional warfare, or as we call the low-intensity warfare, where the enemy or the terrorist is among the people and they always remain in a denial mode. This is one way to bleed our nation, but now we have been, for quite some time, we have been we crossed the threshold in 2016 after the Uri attack. We had surgical strikes all along the borders to send a message that you have crossed our red line. We retain the capability to target your terror camps. After that, the deterrence remained for 3-4 years, and in 2019, they struck a CRPF convoy where 40 Jawans were there, and we had the Balakot, where the air was first time penetrated to bring the terror camp down. But this time, what you have seen, we have increased the threshold level, and it is an integrated joint operation by the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force, using all instruments of state power to curb the terror threat from the Pakistanis. Anywhere in the world, wherever the terror strikes are there, the strings are being brought back to Pakistan. Therefore, this is the beginning to the end, so that again and again the terrorists don't strike India. We need to bring a permanent solution to this problem so that the deterrence is there, and the Pakistan as a nation should realize that it has to undo the terror camps and live in peace, harmony, which is good for them, for the economic development and the growth of India both, and both nations have to live in peace.
Okay, on that note, Lieutenant General Rajiv Chopra, thank you very much for joining us in the program and sharing your perspective.